shame in my name. Hi guys, you're now listening to episode 95 of the No Shame in My Name podcast. I'm your host Juliana, and today we're joined by a special guest,
Bisi, Akins.
Hi Bisi, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. It's a pleasure to have you.
Well, honestly, thank you for inviting me down. This is really cool.
I'm just going to crack into the first question, which I always ask my guests, which is, what name are you bringing to the podcast today and why?
Bisi, which is my full name.
Okay.
Why? Because it's my name and I think it's cool. And it's the name I've been carrying for all my years so far. Obviously, people do call me Bisi, but Bisi is my name.
Okay. And what does Bisi mean?
Bisi means the crown has given birth to me. And it's a Yoruba name, and my mom named me after her mom, who was called Bisi. And she had a really good relationship with her mom, and her mom was kind of like the life of the party, had a really, really great aura about her. So I was asking my mom, like, Mom, why did you choose Bisi as my name? And then she's like, oh, well, you're named after my mom, and my mom was really cool. And I was just like, oh, okay. She said that not like me. Obviously, she said it in a Nigerian accent in the way that she was saying it. But fundamentally, it's because she really had a great relationship with her mom, and she loved that her mom had so much light, her mom had so much joy, her mom had so much wealth, and people really were fond of her mom, and she just wanted that to carry on.
Wow, how does it feel to know that you're named after your grandmother?
I feel like it's really special, and I think it's I think everything is a gift. I think it is a gift that comes with a certain level of responsibility too. I was born and raised in the UK. My grandma, she lived in Nigeria. And we didn't really see her too much because we didn't travel back. So I feel like I'm like an extension of her. I didn't really know her too tough. Like, my memories of her were very young, but I feel like I carry her with my name everywhere I go. And I feel like it is a good reminder to my mom that her mom lives on through me. Yeah.
Can you break down to me the names? You've got Ade, Bisi.
Yeah, so Ade is a crown, right? Ade is a crown. So you would see that in Yoruba culture, there's many, like there's Ade Bukumi, there's Ade Bisi, there's Ade Wale, there's Ades, there's a lot of Ades. I mean, that could be in the first name or the surname. What I've recently noticed that Ade Bisi seems to be a recurring surname rather than a first name. And then I also noticed that a lot of men are called Ade Bisi as their middle name, which was actually surprising to me because I feel like Bisi sounds like a girl's name, but it is unisex. And then Bisi is to bring forth more. Bisi means to multiply. It means to have more of. So when you bring it together, it's like your crown will bring more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it something you grew up with?
Yes.
Knowing the story of your name.
Yes. And I think that's one of the really good things I enjoy about just God's grace that I was born in the UK. But I'm so grateful that in the UK, like at home, feels like you're in Nigeria. And you have a community that all are aligned in that sort of upbringing of their children, because I was around a lot of Nigerians, Ghanaians, Jamaicans, and everybody knew where they were from.
You do lots of content around history and Africa. Can you talk to me more about where that started?
So basically, I'm kind of like a nerd. I wouldn't want to say a nerd, but I've got English fails me sometimes, but I'm very intrigued. I just want to know. Like, I just want to know, like, why is this? Like, if you say the sky is blue, I want to know why. Not just the sky is blue. Tell me why. So I've always been interested in just like the genesis of things. Like, where do we actually come from? Like, why is this? Why is this? And I would watch documentaries on YouTube. I would sit down on YouTube and I would watch about this African dictator, this African queen, this African ruler, this kingdom. And I'd be like, oh my goodness me. In school, my history was, what's it called? Roots, the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And so I would watch these documentaries and I'd be like, oh, this information is so good, so necessary. Like, we should know this. But I did notice that it was so boring. Like, if you're not interested in it, or like you're just listening to the voice talk, it was so monotonous, it was so unengaging. It was just, I was just like, I know I have a gift in the way in which I convey information. I have a gift in storytelling, and I really love this. And I feel like everybody should know it. So I was like, all right, cool. Let me try and tell some sort of history in the best way I know how to. I didn't want to dilute the content, but I didn't want to make the content boring. So I started, I was like, okay, so the history is there and the present's here. How can I make history relevant? So I can attract the people that maybe are like on surface level or that are intrigued, but also get into the nitty gritty. So I pique their interest and then make them delve in more. So I started it, it was approaching Nigerian independence. And then Burna Boy had dropped African Giant. Mm. And then at the end of, I think it was either Collateral Damage or Another Story, I think it was Another Story, yeah. He had the voiceover talking about Unilever and how Nigeria was made as a business deal. And I was like, what do you mean my country was made as a business deal? So then I started looking into it and I was like, oh my goodness me, Unilever, it was sold for 165,000 and it was made up of different protectorates and like different parts of the British colony wanted to do this and that. So I put up a video. And I'm like, oh, you must have heard Burna Boy is Another Story. And this is, and I'm like, today is another story. And I kind of went into it and it kind of blew up. And that's when I knew people are actually interested in this, but they need it to be delivered in a way that it's bite-sized enough, it's relatable enough, it's very engaging, but also very educative. And I feel like when people know their history, know where they come from, know the stories about their ancestors or the people that came before them, and not just the negative part, because I feel like the negative part, life has positives and negatives, and I don't think that should be taken away. But we as Africans, our story is way more than the trauma that is shown at the forefront. Our story is so, oh my goodness me, we are so rich, we are so, and when I say rich and wealthy, I don't mean it in material thing, because we have that on lock anyway, but just in the characters and the stories that we have and the journeys that we've been on, everybody should know this. And we ourselves most definitely should know this, because when you know your identity and you know who you are, you can operate in a space of like, okay, you guys can't really chat to me because, like, for real, I'm royalty.
I know who I am.
Yeah, like, for real. And not in, like, a cocky way, and not in a way that is, what's the word, distasteful, but in a way that you should be sure of who you are, where you come from. I just really, really want that sort of education, that information to be accessible to everybody. And I feel like when it is easily accessible, there's more chance for us to have a more united front in our strengths. It's necessary.
Have there been any surprises since you started this course around Africa and what it means to be African and all this hidden history gems?
It's not surprising, but I think it just brings into light a lot more how people really wanted to put us down.
I feel inspired now. I always feel inspired. But are there any names in history or in the world of music that you have a special affinity to? Obviously, no pressure if not, but like, are there any names that you're like, actually, this person there did this and wow?
You know what, yeah, I would say no, but I feel like names are very important. And when you're naming your child, when you're naming anybody, I feel like it's really important to know that it influences what your child becomes and how your child's life turns out. And I feel like you can see that across the board in many people, in your life, in my life. Like me, even just being named Bisi the Crown has given birth to more. It's not surprising that I won Miss Nigeria. It's just not surprising, is it? Because my name is Crown, so obviously you put a crown on my head, and for it to multiply, it kind of makes sense. And then me wearing the crown and my name having crown, names are so important, and it's just important that you really do give your child or whoever it is a name that you want them to manifest throughout their life.
Did you have a process when it came to naming your son?
Yeah, in the Yoruba culture, we have a naming ceremony. I can't say it in Yoruba because my Yoruba isn't great. And it happens on the 8th day the 8th day after the baby is born, and it happens in the father's house, Ben's family's house. And it was really interesting, me thinking about names, and I wanted to, I've got like stupid amount of names. I think it's 7. No, yeah. I've got bare Oluwas. Oluwas is God, by the way, Oluwa. Me and my husband, we had a united front, and we was like, let's do it this way. And I think it's a beautiful thing, the naming ceremony, and everybody attributing what they would love for my son to manifest into. Like my mom called him Iriolua, which is the joy of the Lord. I think it's, no, the favor of the Lord. Iriolua, the favor of the Lord. And I think those things are really, really beautiful. But yeah, we just found a name that we really enjoyed. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm trying to think what else I need to ask you. But like, I'm loving the conversations I've been having with you. In terms of presenting.
Yeah.
And I guess beauty, actually. You won Miss Nigeria.
Oh yeah, but I was like, when was that?
2014.
Yeah, girl, you know your stuff.
Yeah,
I won that. That was the first one they ever did in the UK, and it was really good. That was even like it was a fluke, to be honest. Yeah. So I'm not a girly girl, right? Even though like I love skin, like I just so happen to be pretty, but that's not my own doing.
Are you allowed to share your skin secrets?
Yeah. Shall I tell you what it is?
Yeah.
You have to drink water and mind your business. Like I drink a lot of water. A lot of water. I think about 3 liters a day.
Okay, cool.
I drink a lot of water, but you have to be like, obviously good genes, that works. But there was a time where I had acne, and that happened in my final year of university, and I was just like, what the hell is this? And that kind of birthed a different side of me, because I always had clear skin. And then I didn't have clear skin anymore. This person that you see now, I wasn't like that. I wouldn't say I was mean, but don't chat to me. I just couldn't. It was really, 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 really bad. Like so bad. And at that time, a friend of mine, he committed suicide. And it put into perspective for me that as big as this is for me, skin, in the grand scheme of things, is really, really minuscule. So for it to have affected me in that way was really bad. I couldn't go out without makeup, and I never used to wear makeup at all. So when I went through that phase of having spots, I was like, no, I need to take autonomy back. I need to take the strength back, and that's how Selfie was born. So Selfie is like a youth initiative, which, if I'm being honest, is on the back burner at the moment. But when I started it, was to ensure young people, young girls specifically, to understand their self-worth, their self-identity and self-image, and to use the tool of makeup, which I feel like had such a big hold on me, to take power back from it. So what I did was I created like this acronym. Your foundation, your foundation is your self-belief. Your eyebrows is your frame of mind. Your concealer is the way in which you deal with things. Your contour is how you chisel your skills. Your highlight is the law of attraction after you've chiseled your skills. Your eyeshadow is your personal vision for your life. Your eyelashes are your personal network. You are the seam, and the individual lashes are your network. And your lips are the things in which you say about yourself. So every single time a young woman, a young girl, or even an older woman goes in front of the mirror to apply these, she's not only enhancing her physical or her exterior, she's instilling principles within her life that enable her to know her best self. And I feel like that was a really testing but beautiful journey for me to understand that irrespective of the surface, you will have spots, you will have flare-ups, you won't have spots, you will have clear skin, you may put on weight, you may lose weight, you may get a job, you may not have a job. There's so many different things, but consistently you have yourself. And you shouldn't let the external factors validate you, one, or change who you are. So that was just a really testing thing.
We spoke a bit behind the camera or off the record about like people have different versions of themselves.
Yes.
What version of yourself are you in right now?
Ooh, that is a brilliant question, by the way. Shout out to you. I feel like the most surest of myself that I've been, the most grateful for everything that I am. I am the most serving I've ever been, and I'm at peace. I still want more in terms of like I want like more to progress in my career. I want to to develop all things Africa, to be that go-to, accessible, educational platform and resource for everybody that's interested in Africa and wants to learn about it. I want Selfie to be implemented for young women across the world. Like there's so many dreams and aspirations that I have. So I still want more, but I'm so at peace with everything God has blessed me with. And I feel like this period of my life is just like, raw. I'm living in answered prayers. And I'm so grateful. So yeah, big shout out to God, isn't it? He's a real G.
The real G, the biggest G.
He is a real G.
Last question. If there was one statement you could make about your name or names in general, I know you've touched on it a lot, but what would it be?
I really want when people think about Bisi Akins or Bisi, or I want them to see a testimony of God, and I want them to feel like they can relate to me. And we're cool, like everybody, we're G's, like we're living the same life. But then also for them to feel inspired that they can do it too, whatever it is that they want to do, and they can do it bigger and better and greater. Like just seeing me is just like oh yeah, cool, yeah, she's done it, I can do it. Sit, her, I can do it.